now let's do the black background. Just going to take some of the excess powder off of this, just because it gets a little bit gritty underneath the paper. It's not going to harm anything, but you just kind of feel the grittiness underneath there moving. Move that stamp to the side. I'm going to have this one here just so you can see the difference between the two of them. Doesn't matter which color you start with. See how it just really pops on the dark background? And you really see the powder on it. I just love how that interference does that. All right, make sure our whole background is covered. There we go. And I'm going to close these pots. Tuck them to the side. Wipe off my excess. And wipe it off the surface there too. Look at how different those backgrounds look. Both really, really pretty. These colors I think would be really, really pretty. You could do, say, a baby card with them, not necessarily with leaves, possibly with a different, I mean, you could do leaves if it was born in the fall and you wanted to incorporate fall cards with it, but just really, really pretty and subtle and pastel with that one. And the colors show up so much more vibrant on the dark background. Oh, I got a couple blotches there. So these have to dry completely, and because I hadn't planned these out ahead of time, I don't have samples. So while I'm letting them dry, I'm going to pick out some colors and die cut my thanks sentiment and get that all ready. So I'll see you in a moment and we'll put the cards together. All right, so I've got my sentiments done here. My paper or my stamped images are dry. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is I said earlier that I hadn't planned this and I thought of it in the middle of the class, but you'll see these at the beginning of the class because I actually filmed my introduction last. That way, if I had intended to do something and I changed the plan in between, or something didn't work out, or I added something, it will be included in the introduction video. So if anyone was confused by that, that's why it's in there. But also still here, and it wasn't planned. The other thing I wanted to mention is I didn't use any regular or any special cardstock for doing these. I just use regular cardstock. This is just regular black, that's just regular white, and it's just smooth. I wanted something smooth to work on. We're adding moisture, and paper doesn't like moisture, which is why it has curled a little bit, but we're not adding a whole lot. So it's not going to change the paper tremendously. And when we go and glue these down onto our bases, all of that warping is going to go away, especially because I put a block on top of it while it's drying to help flatten it out. And I was going to do all orange card bases for this whole class, just to use up my orange cardstock, but these two here, they just really didn't suit it. So I had some sage cardstock here that worked lovely, or that matched lovely, so we're using that. So this one here really liked curling there, but I'm just going to try to position it. Actually, I'm going to add this block because I can see through it a little bit better. Sometimes when I position it and put the block on it and then move it, it likes to move on me. So I'm just, there we go. If you need a little extra weight, a little thing with beads like that is perfect for that. And then I also altered my colors for my Thanks die cut for this one, just so that I would have colors that matched on here. There we go. Put that up, put that on there. All right, now so we have some orange bases here. Another thing you could do is put your image piece between a few sheets of newsprint, and which one do I want? Which one? I'm going to do this one. This one. You can put your image piece on a few pieces of newsprint, or between a few pieces of newsprint, and then iron to flatten your piece out. If that curl was just fighting you too much when you're trying to glue them together. Typically I find though using an acrylic block to hold them down does the trick. Typically it has enough weight to it. Go, and I don't have a third block, but this one probably is dry enough by now. All right, I'm going to let these dry, and then I'll be back in a moment once they are to show you them dry. All right, our cards are mostly dry, although I think I'll put the weights back on them once we're done this. So this one, these two here are the ones with the interference colors. Very pretty, but also very different between what background you choose. And then these ones here are the regular metallic colors. Once again, both very pretty, little bit similar to the Mica mists, the colored mists, but you get a little bit more detail. So if one of the things that perhaps was not your cup of tea about the Mica mists is that you lost some of that detail, then maybe the Perfect Pearls might be a better choice for you, because you keep all of the detail of any stamp that you're using it with, and you can use them with any stamp, whether it's a silhouette one or just a detailed outline one. It'll work just as well. We'll see you in the next video.